I wanted to talk about polio, so I watched the movie Warm Springs, which stars Kenneth Branagh and Cynthia Nixon and tells the story of how US President Franklin Delano Roosevelt coped with the disease. I'm Tira, and I'm an immunologist that likes to ruin the way TV shows and movies handle infectious diseases. Polio is a virus that gets transmitted through food and water that are contaminated by poop, and is paradoxically one of the few illnesses that actually got worse after sanitation was improved in the early 1900s versus getting better. 90% of people who catch it will show no symptoms at all. About 5% will go on to have a short illness and completely recover, and the remaining 5% will have some form of paralysis afterwards. Of the people who develop paralytic polio, between 5 and 10% of children and 15 to 30% of adults will die due to paralysis of the muscles that keep you breathing. A ton of people you already know are part of the lucky 5% that caught polio and recovered, including Frida Kahlo, Alan Alda, Donald Sutherland, Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, Francis Ford Coppola, Arthur C. Clarke, Mary Berry, Itzhak Perlman, Paul Martin, the former Prime Minister of Canada, and his father, Paul Martin Sr., as well as Mitch McConnell, Jack Nicklaus, and Emmett Till. FDR caught this as an adult when he was about 39 years old. His paralysis ended in his lower back area, so he was able to get around in a wheelchair afterward. Even before the presidency, FDR was a rich white guy, so he had the best medical care available, and his case was well documented. The movie showed the whole course of infection fairly accurately, including loss of function in the legs, increased sensitivity to touch, intense pain in the back and lower legs, chills, fevers, problems excreting, and eventual muscle atrophy. The movie does also show him struggling to breathe during his initial infection, and this symptom was never noted in the medical report, so that's a little bit of artistic license probably. The movie also follows FDR as he becomes a staunch advocate for people with disability. He even paid for treatment for people who couldn't afford it at the health spa in Warm Springs, Georgia. He and his pal Basil O'Connor founded the National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis. The fundraising arm of that foundation was called the March of Dimes, and its fundraising was instrumental in developing the polio vaccine that eventually took this disease from paralyzing and killing hundreds of thousands of people every year to just 11 cases in 2024. This virus could be permanently eliminated from the planet. We've already eliminated 2 strains and there's just 1 left. But that requires us to be able to get the vaccines to the places where it is still circulating. Overall, I'm going to rate this movie a solid 9 out of 10 because it was very accurate and it was actually pretty entertaining to watch. So let me know what you think in the comments.